Welcome to the continuation, or part 2, of the KamoKlauZ show, or the documentary of Jack Craning to KamoKlauZ. So, I was basically talking about the 125 years of the Marion Centennial, Marion, North Dakota. I was talking about the wonderful people in my life that I was talking about, and how I was excited that a lot of things in my life has changed. And I noticed that I saw a video that came up on my wall, and it was from the movie White Men Can't Jump. The story White Man Can't Jump is basically Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes. They play basketball with each other, and they end up hustling each other out of money, but then they become a really good friend. They have a really good friendship and a partnership, and they have a really good partnership, and they play basketball together in a 2-on-2 basketball championships, and they end up winning the championships, and they end up doing stuff, and they actually have a great friendship. Well, I was thinking of an old friend of mine named John Norwood, and John Norwood was a guy who was really different. He was a guy who was really nice and laid back, and he was really cool. He could dance like crazy, He used to do this thing where he used to go all the way down on his back, and then he used to get up, and he used to do all this weird dancing, and he was into like Stomp the Yard and those kind of movies. So he was really into that kind of stuff. And John Norwood used to date a girl that I was really good friends with, named Angel. And Angel was a really cool chick. She was a really nice girl. She was loved by John, and she was loved by a lot of people, and then things went south, and she dated other people, and I don't know what happened. John and her ended up having problems, and then John ended up moving to Georgia, and I never saw John ever again. I don't know what happened with John Norwood. He ended up moving to Georgia, and something happened, and he and I drifted apart, and then something else happened, and I don't really know. I mean, I himself was a normal everyday guy, so I don't really have a problem with John. I love John Norwood. I thought he was a really cool guy, really laid back fella, and everything else. So a lot of the things that are going to happen in this hour, or in this drive home, or this basically with the KamoKlauZ show, the second part is I'm going to talk about the things that have happened in my life and happening where I was living. Some of the things that happened in my life, I have no, I don't even know what happened in life. I mean, just things started to change and started to peak and started to go completely insane for me. And one of the things that, so Friday at 10 p.m. to Monday, 5 a.m., 494 is going to be completely closed down. Just want to let people know that. Friday at 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., 494 is going to be shut down. So you got to find another way to get around 494 to go to the airport. But things in my life have happened for a reason, and they've changed, and they made me realize to myself that there is a thin line between love and hate, and there is a thin line between things that happen and things that change for all the formidable reasons. And one of the things that I've noticed in my life is over the years, things happened. And things, went awry, and, there were always things that changed. And, there were things that I did when I was a kid that I just don't, do anymore. And now that I'm 45 years of age, yes, I am 45. Don't let these good looks fool you. But one of the things that I'm so excited about in life is that I'm working on trying to be happy. I'm working on trying to live my life. I'm working on trying to figure out that there is more to life than just, waking up every day, going to work, and living your life and doing what everybody tells you to do. I mean, some of the things that we do in life, we have to do it because that's just our general makeup. One of the things about me being me is I'm always trying to be nice and friendly to people because I don't want people to feel like they're left out. I don't want people to feel down and depressed. But, everybody thinks that I have something against everybody. I don't hate people. No, I don't. I do not hate people. It's just that if you sit there and you egg me on and you piss me off by saying stupid things to me repeatedly over and over again, it's going to make me get really upset. And some of the things that people do is they talk down about themselves and they make themselves, stupid. Well, not stupid. They talk down about themselves and they hate themselves for no freaking reason. I hate myself sometime because I did some things that were wrong, and I've basically acknowledged the fact that I did this shit and I fucked up. But then, they keep on telling me over and over again, if it wasn't for this, and this, I wouldn't be the way that I am. And I'm like, you know what? That's not my fault. Acknowledge the fact that you know what you did in life and fucking step up for it and take the responsibilities for your own actions. I take responsibilities for all my actions. I fuck up everything. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I even think that I'm the mistake child in my family. I sometimes think that. Because I was the baby in the family and I was given everything. Because the thing is because my parents gave it to me because they knew that I was going to be a mistake and I wasn't going to be, able to do a lot of things on my own. Now, do I blame my mom and dad for this? No. I don't blame my parents for my problems. No. I don't blame my parents for anything. I take full responsibility for my fuck-ups. I do my own fuck-ups. I take care of my own shit. Yeah? I tell everybody that I am the problem. I mean, I used to think to myself that I was the kid from Problem Child because that's exactly what I was. I thought I was the problem child. I mean, yes, I did a lot of crazy shit. I mean, I used to drive big wheels and jump a big wheel off of a ramp and, skin my knees and hurt myself and do all this and do all that, but I turned out okay. I mean, I still know how to finger paint. Yeah. I was just never good at math. I hated school. You want to know why I hated school? When I was in the second grade, I was 7. I mean, I was in kindergarten, and then went to first grade, all that fun bullshit. And in the bay bar, that kind of shit. Second grade, I don't really talk about a lot of things that happened in second grade because, you know, shit kind of fucking hit the fan. And I didn't care about the revolution. I didn't care about the Revolutionary War. I didn't care about all this stuff that was in the history. Because I didn't care about what it was. Because it was just old news. It was just something that happened that none of us had any control over, and there was water under the bridge. It was stuff that we couldn't as kids, you know, take care of. No, we couldn't stop it. We just had to sit there and learn about it. The only time that I loved going to school was when we had movie day. Yeah, when we would watch movies. That was the only time I liked it, but recess and PE were like the only things that I cared about. When I was in Laurel Ridge Elementary School in Fairfax, Virginia, I went to Laurel Ridge Elementary School. I went there from kindergarten up to 6th grade. I was told that I was a different kind of kid. I was told that, you know, I was different. I had to have Ritalin and peanut butter, which don't know any reason why I had to have that. It was because they were saying that I was hyperactive because, you know, I had a hyperactive disorder. Well, yeah, because I can't sit down. I can't sit down in a stupid thing when I'm bored. Yes. So I was bored in school. Yeah, I was bored. I hated school. Because I wanted to be outside. I wanted to be in nature. I wanted to run around. You know? That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to sit there and read books and read shit about math that, like, no one's going to even freaking know how to do in years to come. Yeah, nobody gave a shit if X equals Y times Z or whatever the shit. Nobody gave a shit about algebra. I don't give a shit about algebra. All as long as I know how to do is know that I work 12 to 10 hours a day and put in over 100 hours of work and get a $1,400 paycheck. That's all that I matter, you know? The only thing that I know about math is that I know that I'm putting in all these hours and I'm working my ass off. But, you know, for what? To basically turn around and give these customers a safe ride home. That's pretty much all I learned how to do. The one thing that I like more than anything in the world for driving is driving. I love driving. You know? I keep seeing price drops all the time on these cars from car gurus and hoping someday that I can get a Jeep. Because I totally fucked myself in the ass buying the stupid Mini Cooper. I really did. You know, I kind of wish that I would never have gotten rid of the Tacoma. Yeah, I wish I would have never gotten rid of the Tacoma. But, you know, I did. I got rid of the Tacoma and, you know, helped, you know, bought 2 Mini Coopers out of it, you know, and helped out my ex-wife buy a car that she really and truly liked, but then she ended up losing it because, well, we just didn't have any money together to, you know, to be together because we weren't together anymore. But I left. Yeah, I left. But I didn't leave. I went to go find a better job. I went to go find a job that was my skill set. I didn't leave. I went to go find a job for my skill set. But the thing is that, you know, we're almost over it. You know, we're so close. We're $386 away. $386 away from being able to file all this stuff and move on. $386 away is all we are. You know, and we're so close. Because once everything gets filed, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't even know if we're going to be friends anymore. Because I ruined it so damn much. Everybody hates my ass. You know, everybody thinks that I'm the biggest loser in the entire world because, you know, I fucked it up with Joe. So, I mean, that's what everybody thinks. So that's what they can say. And I've said it over and over repeatedly. I've said, look, you know, I fucked it up. Yes, I fucked it up. I ruined it all. Hate me. Don't hate Joe. Hate me. Just hate me. Because you know what? I'm trying to score points with the man upstairs so that I can have a better life. So that I can play KamoKlauZ the rest of my life. Because that's pretty much all I really care about. I care about KamoKlauZ and I care about my life. Everything and people who believe in me. You know? That's what I believe in. Is myself. Because I was told that you have to love yourself. I thought I could love Joe. But I did love Joe. I loved her all the time. I told everybody that I had a great wife. And you know what? She was a great mom to her kids. She put up. She worked hard for her brother. She worked hard for her mom, who passed away. She worked hard for everybody. Because that's what she does. She works hard. She's a hard-working individual and a woman who is badass. And I hope that when she goes on after this divorce, she always does, hard. And I hope she has a great life. I hope she goes on and she goes and does everything great. I hope she has a great life. I hope the kids and I hope everybody goes on and starts a great family. Because I don't wish anything bad on Joe. You know, I don't. And I don't hate her. I don't hate her. I don't have anything against her. I think she's a great person. I really do. But, you know, she sits here and thinks that I bash her all the time. I don't bash her. I love her. Because I love everybody. I love everybody who believes in me. And who likes me. Because I don't know why the hell you need to hate on somebody. I don't know why you need to hate on somebody. I don't know why you need to hate people. Why does the world hate everybody? You know? Why do people come over here and piss on our flag, but when we go over to their country, we all have to do like they do. We have to follow their rules. Because we can't go somewhere and say, oh yeah, we're American, we can do what... I've never had any disrespect for anything. No, I never have. I adapted. I followed. I went along with everything. I was basically in my own lane, being my own self. I never hated anybody. When I went over to Germany, and I went there to be an electrical contractor for MCD. When I went over to Germany, I basically would walk into a pub, like Biddy Early's Irish Pub. That was the pub we went to. And I would sit at the bar and drink water because I didn't want to drink beer. I didn't want to drink anything alcoholic. And I watched all my MCD employees get drunk all the time. I watched Josh. Josh was this computer programmer kid who looked like the guy from The Critic. Yeah. Josh was this kid who would just get drunk every night, every day. He would get shit-faced all the time. And he would have to be driven home from the bar, so he would get a cab all the time. And I would walk home from the bars because I didn't want to be there. Because I didn't want to be around the alcohol and shit. So I'd walk home, and I'd walk home from the bars and stuff. And I had a leather jacket a really nice leather jacket that got stolen from one of the bars in Germany. Yeah, $800 jacket that I bought. It was a duster. A 3/4 coat, basically, is what it was. It was the biggest fucking leather jacket you could ever imagine. It was made out of like 17 cows. Yeah. And some guy took my fucking coat. So I walked home. I walked home in a Under Armour shirt that was like robin's egg blue and a pair of jeans. Because I had my jacket and it was gone. And someone told me, but I had my wallet on me. I had my wallet and all my money. Yeah. The only thing I had in the jacket pocket was a stupid Motorola phone from MC Dean, like a burner phone, and my jacket. That's it. But I kept my wallet on me. I kept that on me in a chain wallet. Because I had a chain wallet all the time because I like chain wallets. They were really cool. They actually were on my side. And I was pretty badass. But one of the reasons why I also was badass was because my whole entire head was shaved and I looked like Vin Diesel from Triple X. I really did. Because I ended up getting hit in the head by a hammer drill and I had a big huge gouge in the top of my head and they had to shave my whole entire head and stitch me up. Well, I didn't get stitches. No. I just put some paper towel on it and then I put super glue on it every night before I went out and I shaved my head. Because I didn't care to get fixed up. I just was driving around and being myself. I didn't want to go to England, but I did. I went to England. This was after 9/11 happened. But, I don't really care. I mean, things happen. And we move on. But I was over in Germany and I acted like I didn't have anything against any of the German people. They asked me how I felt about George Bush. And I said, you know what? He's the president of the United States. That's all I know. Do I know anything about him? Do I know any of his plans? No, I don't care. Because he's the president, and that's who I gotta listen to. Same way with Joe Biden. He was the president, and I listened to what he had to say. Because politics, I don't really give a shit about politics anymore. I don't really care about politics anymore. I don't give a shit about it. People think I'm a Trump supporter. No, what I am is I'm an American. I love the red, white, and blue. I love America, dude. I love everybody. I really do. I don't hate people. No, there was a time back in my life when I was a dick and I was mean to everybody, but then I realized to myself that life is too fucking short. Don't take everything for granted because you'll never get out alive. Yeah, I learned that from Ryan Reynolds. That's a line from Van Wilder. Don't take life too serious because you'll never get out alive. Yes, that's from Van Wilder. And the reasoning is that everybody in this world should just love each other. That's what I say. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. If somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I love you, or, I like you, or I want to talk to you, then fine, talk to me, love me. But if you try to bang me or try to do something to me, I'll be like, look, I don't swing that way, but I just want to talk. I want to be your friend. Because I don't want to hate on people anymore. I want people to start loving God. If I believe in God, are you going to make fun of me for that? Because I think the world needs more God and less social media. Because anytime I'm ever on social media, it's nothing but boner pills. It's nothing but boner pills and drama. That's all it is. All I try to do is live my life. I try to be happy every day is what I do. I go to work, I drive people in my car or in my van, and I try to be happy. That's all I try to do. I use a hands-free device on my phone, and I talk to myself in my van when I have nobody in here. Because the thing is that I have nobody in here. This is my office. This is my mobile office. Do I touch my phone? Do I take pictures while I'm driving? Do I send text messages? No. I basically talk to people on a recorded device, and it goes to YouTube when I save it. But I don't do that until I stop. That's why mostly all my videos are an hour long, is because I plan out my podcasts for how long I know I'm going to be driving. Because the thing is I'm talking to you, but I'm perfectly fine driving down the road, looking at my maps, or not looking at my maps, looking at my mirrors, and being who I am. Because that's what I'm paid to do, is drive down the road and get this van from point A to point B, and back to B, and back to A, and back to C, and do it for 10 to 12 hours of the day. Because that's what I like to do. I like to work hard. I like to take care of people. And the one thing is, I love everybody. I'm a very heartful soul, is what a lot of people say. I have a great heart on my shoulders. I love people. Because I don't want to see people in pain anymore. I don't want to see people suffer anymore. You know, I've had people come up to me and ask me for money and say, hey, do you have any money? And I'm like, dude, man, unfortunately I don't. And I don't. Because I'm broke 90% of the time. Because everybody talks about inflation, and they talk about, not having any money, but they're like, well, yeah, but if it wasn't for that president that you voted for, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation. But why does everybody blame everybody, or why does everybody blame Trump for everything? A lot of things happened under all kinds of presidents and government before. It's not, the world just finds a blame on everybody. Yeah, the world finds a blame on everybody, is what it is. And they need to quit blaming people for everything. They need to just take into consideration that maybe sometimes they do it for themselves. They put it on social media and blame everybody for everything that went downhill. But people have better things that they have to worry about. What about families? What about this, that, and the other? What about things that are going on? See, people come over here and they stay here because, they get a lot of things when they come over here. They get free health care. They get all this good stuff, and they do all this stuff, and then they turn around and they try to pay here, or they try to be here for citizenship. They try to get their citizenship, but they're not getting it because it's a lot of money to get citizenship. It's a lot of money. It takes a lot to get citizenship. It takes a lot to get a green card. It takes a lot of things to do. And you know what? If everybody could do it, then they should do it. That's what I say. If you need to get citizenship and you want to stay here, then get citizenship. If you don't want to be here, get dual citizenship. But just understand that if you do something, you're doing more than what anybody else is doing, but you just have to take care of yourself and your family. That is all I ever say. Take care of your family and take care of yourself. They always say that mental health is one of the things that people are so afraid of, like criticizing their suicide hotline or crisis hotline or being down and depressed, because the reasoning is that people are trying to make everything, make ends meet. Yeah. I get down on myself all the time because the thing is that I am the problem. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. But the thing is that I know how to live my life for me. I've loved myself, for the last year and 6 months. I've loved myself. And I realized to myself that, you know what? That's probably the way that I should be. Is by myself, is alone. And have my friends around me who really understand and get me. If you don't understand and get me, then you don't know the real me. You can't really make an assumption. You can't make an assumption on me because you don't know exactly everything about me. All you know is that I'm a loud guy. I try to entertain people because I rather have fun than be down in the dumps and be pissed off all the time. That's why I try to be happy all the time. But I also know that if you expect things from me all the time and I don't come through and you tell me hey, what's going on? I'm like, dude, is that the only reason why you want to be around me? It's because I do things for you? That's fucked up. But the thing is I want to be myself. I want to be just natural. Like I said, things that happened in my past, they're behind me now. I'm moving forward. Living myself day by day by day. Because the thing is that the next day I can be better than what was in the past. I mean, that's why they call it the present. Because you get to open it every day when you wake up. That's a line from Kung Fu Panda. Look it up, maybe. Realize to yourself that good things, come to those who wait. Oh, wait a minute. That's a ketchup commercial. Because there are so many sayings in life. That are all from a different book that says don't sweat the small stuff. And the reasoning is that every time you sweat something that's so small, you'll be pissed off, paranoid, and upset at yourself. So you'll be negative all the time. The best thing in life is to be positive. The best thing in life is to be turned on by making yourself feel good. Sometimes if shit don't go your way, it doesn't go your way. But also, you know what? Maybe the next time you be positive about it, it might go your way. I sit here and I sound like I'm preaching to the choir. And I'm sitting here talking to everybody. But you want to know something? If you turn around and you have a positive attitude, a lot more people want to be your friend. A lot of people love you. A lot of people think, you know what, Jack, you're a great person. One day, I had a shirt on. I went and made a t-shirt at this place. It said free bear hugs. Yes, I made this shirt. I made it at the mall. And I took it with me somewhere, when I was in Virginia somewhere. And I walked around and I gave people hugs all the time. We didn't have social media. No, we didn't have social media. I just made a shirt that said free bear hugs. This guy saw me, he grabbed my shirt and he ripped it off. And he called me a faggot. And I was like, dude, why did you rip my shirt? Why did you tear it off? And he said, because you're a faggot. And I said, what if I am? What if I like all kinds of people? What if I am the way that I am? Why do you have to be so judgmental? Why do you have to gaslight me? Why do you have to hate me? Why do you have to bring me down a peg to make yourself better? And he said, because I don't like people who are positive. And I said, you know what? Maybe if you tried to be positive, maybe you wouldn't be such a mean person. Did I call him a dick? No. I said a mean person. And he walked away and never talked to me again. And I walked away shirtless. But I grabbed another shirt out of my book bag because I had another shirt. But it didn't say free bear hugs on it. It was just my shirt that I had. I had a backup shirt. I put it on because I didn't want to be shirtless in downtown Baltimore or whatever, or wherever I was at. I think it was Baltimore. Or it was somewhere in Virginia. I don't remember. But the thing is that I was just being myself. The other day, there was a company that was talking about t-shirts. And, I was always into building my own t-shirts. I was always into having a good time. And I didn't care what were on those t-shirts. But you know what? If they were negative, nobody wanted to buy them. If they were positive, people laughed at them, thought they were funny. So basically, you just turn around and make positive things, out of t-shirts and just try to have fun with it. I think that's the way it should be. I think it's always better to be positive. Because my dad told me to be positive. My dad told me one time, my dad told me that nobody likes an asshole. Yeah, my dad told me that once. Nobody likes an asshole. But then when my dad got really drunk one time and started yelling at me, I looked at him and I said, you know what, you're being an asshole. And then he kind of, I guess, wondered and I left. But the thing is that when people do things because they don't know they're doing it, that's when it happens the most. Like this guy. This guy right here, I have no idea. It says best viewers at steamboo.com. Remove the space. I don't know why there's always somebody on Twitch that is always telling me to remove the space. Because they're trying to tell me not to be on Twitch. Because they're trying to tell me that I'm wasting the space. That I'm a waste of space on Twitch. Okay? Every goddamn woman on Twitch that licks their fucking microphone and tries to be a douchebag, why do they get to keep licking the fucking microphone and nobody tells them to stop wasting the space? I'm sorry, but the Rockstar Pineapple, or whatever this flavor is, I think it's lemon. Yeah. The Rockstar Lemonade is amazing. I don't care who you are. Rockstar Lemonade is amazing. I love it. The Rockstar Lemonade, orange and pineapple, taste amazing. The fruit punch is good, but yeah, it kind of has a weird kind of aftertaste to it. But yeah. So if the girls on Twitch can lick the microphone and sound like they're playing with themselves, then I can be on Twitch talking about my problems and everything else. So to whoever you are, ideal somebody, whatever the hell your name is, thank you for the positive vibes, but I'm going to have to say no. So, yeah. Anyway, like I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, so I don't know why people, for some odd reason, why people can't just love each other. It was said best by Paul McCartney and John Lennon, all you need is love. And, I think they were absolutely right. But Then somebody shot and killed Lenin. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, what is somebody going to shoot me next? For me trying to be myself? For me trying to tell people that I love everybody? You know, somebody told me, and I think this was Barb. Yeah. Barb was one of my favorite people, and I love her to death. She owns a store in Sauk Center called Heaven and Earth Essentials. One of the most lovable ladies ever. Her name is Barb, and she is one of the most greatest people in the world. And she's a beautiful lady, wonderful person. I miss her. I have to go see her. The next time I'm in Sauk Center, I'm gonna go see her, because I think I'm gonna go see her one time when I'm going to my mom and dad's house, and I'm just going to stop in and say hi and tell her how much I love her, because she's a great woman, and I love her to death. Because Barb is one of these great women that have, you know, a great chakra, and she's, you know, she loves everybody, and she's basically a hippie. Yeah, she basically told me that loving everybody is the best way to be. Just like my dad told me. The same thing. So, I actually say that the world should, you know, love everybody. You know, I mean, people can have guns as long as they go out and go hunting. Like hunt animals. Like deer and, you know, buffalo and bison. But imagine if we lived in a time. So I was watching Dances with Wolves the other day. Now imagine if we would go back to that kind of, way to get food, with hunting and gathering and growing our own herbs and crops and everything else. Imagine if we did that kind of stuff. If we went that way. It'd be pretty hard. Because, you know, taking down buffalo with a gun is probably pretty easy if you shoot them in the right spot. Yeah. But imagine shooting them with a bow. It does the same thing. You hit the heart, it'll stop. And it'll fall on the ground, and it'll lay there. Yeah. But just imagine, if you will, going across the plain and seeing a whole bunch of buffalo, and you're driving around, or you're walking around, or you're on a horse, and you're on a horse, and you're horsebacking, and you're shooting buffalo and trying to get them down to where you can eat them and get the meat from them. Just imagine how hard that would be. I mean, you know, you can't. There are people who look at me and go, that happened? Dude, that was back in the day. Yeah. People used to get hides and, you know, pelts and everything, and sell them and trade them and stuff like that for money. That's how they lived the way of life. Yeah, that's how they lived the way of life. They were hunters and gatherers, and, you know, growing their crops and fishing and everything to live for food. Now, people go to Walmart and spend, you know, $300, $400, $500, you know, dollars on groceries fill up their refrigerators with stuff that lasts for 4 or 5 months, and they make it look easy for a family of 7 or a family of 5. I'm a person who lives by myself, and every time I go to the grocery store and spend about $200 on myself, I cry. But and then you have that one person who sits in the lane, or sits in the same lane as you are, and you go, well, I spent $200 on groceries. And she goes, well, yeah. If it wasn't for that guy, Donald Trump, we wouldn't be in this situation. Or if it wasn't for Joe Biden, we wouldn't be in this situation. And I'm like, I don't really care about either of them. I don't. I just say that I like the other one as opposed to the other one. But they're the president of the United States. Donald Trump is the president of the United States. Okay? He basically is the guy that's in charge right now. You know? And he's got all these other people alongside of him who are in charge too. You know? They all have their own little gurus, their own little groups of people. You know? We all have everything. But some people only listen to Democrats. And some people only listen to Republicans. Why can't people listen to each other? Why can't we just be happy with each other? Like the song says, why can't we be friends? You know? Why can't we live our lives and be friends with each other? Why can't we be happy? Why do we always have to be in fight mode all the time? You know? I sit here and tell myself I'm not going to live average. I'm going to live savage. Which means that I'm going to do things for myself. If somebody wants help, ask for it. And if I don't have the money or I don't have the time to help you, don't get pissy with me and give me some bullshit. Just say, okay, thanks for your time, move on. Yeah, not everybody's a dick, okay? Yeah, not everybody's a dick. Not everybody hates everybody in this world. Not everybody's against you for being who you want to be. If you want to be a cat, or you want to be a dog, or you want to be classed as whatever, then be classed as what you want to be. But you have to follow the rules like everybody else. There are rules. You have to follow them. You're not a different person because you want to classify yourself as a dog or as a cat. You're not considered a different person. You're considered an American. You're on American soil. So you be like Americans. If you're here, you're here. You know, I wish that everybody in this world could just have one big giant party. You know? Like, I wish that people could be happy with each other. Not always have drama all the time. You know, if you want to drive your car in the dunes and you want to jump your car off the dunes in, you know, Arizona or whatever, go for it. You know? Yeah. But just be happy. They always sit there and they say that they want people to be, you know, like grab a case. And I always say, you know what? If there's a car show going on, go to the car show at 2 in the afternoon. When that car show gets over, grab your buddies and your friends. Go have a bonfire. Go sit somewhere. Have a bonfire. You know? Just sit there and relax and be yourselves. Make s'mores. Have fun. Camp out under the stars. Live your life. Just be with your friends. Don't worry about, what kind of things they had going on back in their life, because that's not what it matters. Love them because they're your friend, not for what they did. I wish more and more people would just turn around and just say, you know what you did in your past is in the past. Time to move forward. Let's be friends and fuck it all. And just say, fuck it all, man. It's something that happened. Light the fire and burn all the bullshit away. Back in the day, people used to have, when people were cold, what they used to do, they used to find a barrel. Yep, they used to find a barrel. They used to put all their memories in this barrel, throw a little lighter fluid on it, and have a bonfire. Stand there and keep their hands warm. That's what a lot of people do in Minnesota in the wintertime, is they have burn barrels. But now you can't do that because it's polluting. It pollutes the air. It's just somebody burning away their memories. There's all these things. If people have peanut allergies, I get it. People don't like peanuts. But you know what? They take precautions to be around other people. So don't make it bad for the whole entire person, or make it bad for everybody to get rid of peanuts. Yeah. Just say you have peanut allergies and say, hey, will you respect me? And people will respect you. We don't need to have, we don't need to have Karens and Darrens in this world anymore. And Darren, I'm not going at you, Darren. I love you, man. You're like a great guy. After you and I squashed everything, I say that I love and respect you, meaning that I understand who you are. I get where you're coming from. Okay? That's what I'm saying, Darren. But the thing is that, a lot of people in this world live their lives one day at a time. Meaning that they put their pants on one leg at a time. And they live their lives one day at a time. They go to work. They get the job done. They come home, take care of themselves and take care of their family, depending on what they have. I saw this line the other day that says, it was on a t-shirt, or it was on a meme, and it says, I'm not single because women don't like me. I just haven't been able to find the right one. Or I haven't been able to find someone who wants to put up with me. Or I'm not dating anymore. I just foster women until they find the right guy. That is stuff that you see, but it's the truth. Nowadays, nobody really wants a relationship anymore. Nobody really wants to get married. What they want is they want somebody who will make them feel good about themselves, and then they'll go home and they'll realize to themselves that, hey, that guy might make me feel good when I'm sleeping next to him, or I'm laying next to him and I'm cuddled in his arms. And maybe I'm going to make that guy feel good about himself because I'm laying with him. But most of the time, nobody ever wants to get married anymore. Relationships aren't about always getting married. No. It's finding somebody that you want to spend time with. Most men and most women, they want to spend time with somebody who wants to be with them. Who wants to love them. That's what it is. It's not because they're trying to find somebody that they, can put up with their shit for 10 years. is because they share a common interest, a common bond. They love each other. And you want to know something? I didn't have that. And I'm not saying that Joe and I were never compatible with each other. We had a great 10 years. But that's all it was 10 years. And maybe we both need to realize to each other that after that 10 years, we just drifted apart. And I don't hate Joe. I don't hate her family. I actually love everybody in her family. You know, I really do. Yes. I actually, love her family. I loved going over to England and being there. The only reason why I had so many problems about being in England was because, one, I didn't have a large amount of money, but I would spend money like I was rich. I would spend money like I had money. Because the thing is that's how I felt good about myself. I felt great. Because, you know what? I felt like I wanted to spend money. Because, shit, dude, I didn't, I worked and I saved all that money because that's what I wanted to do. I worked hard for that shit. If I wanted to spend it on Joe and her family, that's what I did. I wasn't trying to be, a great person. I wasn't trying to be better than anybody else. I was trying to be a part of a family. I was trying to be somebody that somebody loved and cared about. That's what I was trying to be. And yes, when I do say this about what I was going to do after being with Joe for 10 years, when I was with Joe for 10 years, I was going to tell her, look, we've been together for 10 years and we've done a really good job. We've struggled, we've made it work, but now what we're going to do is we're going to plan on making it so that you and I can go to England together. And that's what we were going to do. And I'm 100% serious about that. That's what I was going to do. Well, now that it's over and done with, I'm not going to do that. Because the thing is that there's no reason to do that because we're not together anymore. We're separated. We've moved on. Okay? But that's what I wanted to do. But that just shows you that both of us drifted apart. And Joe, please, understand that when I say this, I'm saying it to you from the bottom of my heart to tell you that yes, I was the one that fucked up. Because I was. I fucked up everything. I am the one that will take the responsibility and grab the life by the fucking horns and say, yes, I fucking ruined your life. Because I did. I ruined everything, okay? I ruined Louie and I ruined Ruby's lives. And yours. More than anything in the world. And if I had money right now to make up for anything, to make up for all the problems and everything, if I had money, I would turn around and help you out. Only if you needed the money. If you asked me and I had it, I would turn around and I would try to do everything in my power to make it right. I would. But I don't. I mean, I don't even think that, if I was to even win the lottery right now, I wouldn't even know where to start. I would try to make all of my stuff disappear, like all my debts and all my problems. And then I would help you guys out and get you to where you need to be. But that's only if you want my help. But I'm not bashing you guys, okay? So let's get that perfectly fucking clear. I'm not bashing you. I'm not talking down about you. I'm not coming down on your deformation of character. I'm not trying to come down on you. I'm not even telling the world anything bad about you. I've actually been saying a lot of positive things about you. Every time I've ever talked about you to anybody who ever knows me, I've done nothing but talk good about you. Because I tell people that you're a great person. I've always told people that you're beautiful. I've always told people that you were the best thing that ever happened to me. Because, you were. But now that we're not together anymore, I hope that you and your family go off wherever you're going to go, and I hope nothing but positive things come your way. Just like you should hope that positive things come my way. But I don't know how you feel about me anymore. I really don't know. So, people, in your family are probably watching this right now and thinking, God, what an asshole. Stop talking shit about my mom. Well, I'm not talking anything bad about her. I wish nothing but the best for her. Yeah. Sometimes I tell the man upstairs, I'm like, you know what? If I were to die right now and a life insurance policy were to go to somebody, my life insurance policy right now, it goes to my mom and dad. You want to know why? Because we're separated. But we're separated, but we're still together because we haven't gotten the divorce finalized yet. But, but if I was to die, all of my money and everything would go to my parents. It'd go to my dad. He's my beneficiary. Yeah, he is. He's my beneficiary. Because, one, I made him my beneficiary because the thing is that I knew that someday this was going to come along. And I knew it was going to come along because I moved to St. Cloud not to better myself. I moved to St. Cloud to find a job, and the company that wanted me to work for them was Groom Transportation, a company where I make over, $4,000 every month, and I try to make ends meet. I mean, if you look at everything that I've made from Groom, from the time I worked here before till now, I've made $81,000 working for Groom. Yeah, I've made $81,000. I make about $45,000 a year with the tips and everything that I do because I love Groom. I had an opportunity to go work for another company. I told my boss, I told Andy, that I was never going to leave her because, one, she gave me an opportunity to work here. She hired me back because she knew that she wanted me to work here. Because I'm a good guy. Because people love me. And no, I take a line from Saturday Night Live and I say it every day to myself because it's the honest to God's truth. The thing is that I am good enough. I am smart enough, and doggone it, people fucking love me. I say the fucking love me part because I swear too much. So you know what I do? I take money and put it in my swear jar. All these tips that I make from people, I take money and put it in the swear jar. Yeah, I have a swear jar at home. It's an old Utz container. It's an Utz pretzel container with the top grinded off so that I can put money in it and put change in it because I swear all the time. So all the tips and everything that I make goes into that swear jar. I have change in my car that I throw in the swear jar because I get mad at myself. I get mad at myself all the time. Because the thing is that I get so upset with myself I get so mad at myself because I do a lot of things and I'm tired of messing up. I'm tired of making mistakes. But everybody makes mistakes. We all live our lives like we're not going to make a mistake. So now that I'm getting closer to St. Cloud and I'm on my final thought, basically what I want to do is I want to tell you people, I want to tell everybody in the world right now, that if you look to the person next to you, you don't know who they are. And they say to do this at church. They say to look at the person next to you and say, peace be with you. But I'm going to tell you right now, the person next to you or the person around you, next to you to the left or to the right, in front of you, behind you, turn around and just tell them, hey, have a great day. And I love and respect you. Or you don't have to say I love you. Just say I respect you. Or just say, have a good day. Tell somebody that they have a good day. Give them a positive daily affirmation. Just tell them that you love and respect who they are. Because daily affirmations go a long way. People love to be respected. If you're having a shitty day, just think something positive and you'll be fine. You don't always have to think negative. Remember the song, If I Could Buy the World a Coke? That's how everybody is. But just don't buy the world a Coke. Give the world a positive thought. Be positive. Because I remember back in the day when NBC used to have the little star across the thing. It says, the more you know. But I was always telling people to be positive. So if there's anything that I could say for my final thought today, it's basically be positive with each other. Give somebody a positive affirmation. Tell somebody that you love them. Tell somebody that you want to be around them. It's only Thursday, but that doesn't mean that you have to just love them for one day. Love them for 365 days. Love them for a whole year. Love them for a month. Love everyone. Because the thing is that, you know what? If you can't even love yourself, then don't love anybody else. So, that's my final thought, and that's what I have to say, because that's what I say. I mean, I get it. You know, we live in a world where everything is proper. Everything is good. Everything is great. Everything is wonderful. Because you want to know why? Because damn it, if it wasn't wonderful, somebody else out there would tell you that it is. But you want to know something? You can live your life at 100 miles an hour, and some days you'll never ever feel good about yourself. But you can also turn around and say, God damn it, I love myself. Because I know I do. But don't use God's name in vain. So just say, hey, you know what? Dang it, I love myself. Start a swear jar. Yeah, start a swear jar. Start a swear jar, and every time you say a swear word, throw money into it. And all the money that you save from swearing, you can turn around and buy yourself something. A case of beer. A doghouse. You can help your friend out. You can go to a ramen place and have noodles with your friend. Just love your friends. And love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, then you can't love anybody else. That lemonade Rockstar is so good, man. But I know Rockstar's bad for you, so I mean, yeah, Rockstars can be bad for you. I mean, they get you really excited. Yeah. But just remember, though. Oh, yeah, and by the way, when I go get a haircut all the time, I'm not really getting a haircut. What I'm getting is I'm getting my hair shaved on the sides. I would do it myself, but then I don't know what I'm doing, and I can't see the back. So I don't really know what I'm doing. So that's why I go get a haircut. Because I have my friend, my friend Tristan does my hair for me all the time. And Tristan's actually really a good friend. I love Tristan more than anything in the world. He's one of my favorite people. And I think, one of the people in your life to have as a friend is a barber. The next is to have a doctor. Yeah. So you need to have a doctor and a barber as your friend. Because, if you ever get sick, that doctor can help you out, like, really cool, but you still have to pay him. Yeah. But anyway, just, love people. That's all I gotta say. And, if you have a positive attitude, people will love you too. They'll love you back. So, just remember that going forward today and going forward for the rest of your life, that, we're always trying to think positive. So, that's my final thought, and I just want to say I love and respect everybody, and I hope people have a great day. Because I'll try to have a great day if you try to have a great day. You down? Hi, dude. I don't know, man. I'm thinking about breakfast. Yeah, I'm thinking about breakfast because, breakfast is just around the corner. It's 6 o'clock, but I'm about to go to bed. Yeah. I was going to go work out, but I have to get up in 12 hours and be back at work. Yeah. But, but for what we don't love knows. It's so funny I say that. But when you listen to music, some of the things that you hear in music, you just should never repeat. But then you'll be singing the song, so it's all good. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I just want, people to just have a great day. And remember, you belong here. Because, you belong in this world. And you belong around your friends. You belong everywhere. And you belong in a happy and wonderful place. Because I think everybody in this world deserves to smile a little bit more and have a great life. Yeah. So that's pretty much all I got to say about that. Remember to be positive. Remember to have a great outlook on life. Just keep on keeping on, Because the day will go so much better if you just let it go with you, and if you, you just keep on going. So, and love the one you're with, love the one you're with. If it's not working out, just keep yourself happy and love yourself. and then it will turn around for you. It always has to. Because it just has to work. Because not everything is bad. We live in a world where things will get better. They have to. So. So that's my final thought, y'all. And I just want to say thanks again for watching. And I hope you guys have a great and wonderful weekend. Because I don't know when I'm going to do another show again. Probably do one today or tonight. Who knows? But just remember to live your life. Because if you don't live your life, you're never going to be happy. No. You're always going to be stressed out, and you're always going to be worrying about things. So, the best thing you can do is just be yourself. Yeah. Just be yourself. Because that's the best way to be. Yeah. That's the best way to be, is yourself. Because yourself is pretty much how you start. You look at yourself in the mirror every day and you think, hey, I'm going to get that promotion. I'm going to win that lottery. I'm going to think to myself that, hey, you know what? I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. And doggone it, people love me. And I love them back. Because if the world loved each other and people stayed in their lane and people, gave 5 minutes to care about somebody else other than themselves, then we'd all be in a better place. And that's pretty much what I have to say. So, thanks again. I hope that y'all have a great day and, have a great weekend and live your life to the fullest and enjoy yourself. Because if you don't enjoy yourself, then you're never going to know. And today's final thought goes out to Tim Turbo's shop. Or Tom Turbo or Tim Turbo, a shop that is around. If you ever need automotive needs, just go to a shop and just go there and, have fun. Thanks again.